Have you ever left a doctor's office thinking, was that it? Why is it that your labs are normal, but you still feel anything but? And why are you being offered antidepressants when all you asked for was help with bloating? God didn't design your healing to come from one person in a white coat who's too busy to look up from your lab work. And He definitely didn't call you to ignore your body just because someone with a stethoscope said you're fine. Today, we're talking about 6 reasons you can't always trust your doctor to rebuild your health and how to find the support team that actually partners with you, listens to you, and reminds you that your body was made to heal. Spoiler alert, your care team might include a doctor, but it should also include wisdom, prayer, real food, and people who actually work for you.
Gallbladder gone. Now what? Let's heal from the inside out.
Welcome to Gallbladder Gone. Now what? The podcast for Christian women navigating life after gallbladder removal. Hosted by Jami McQuivey, holistic nutritionist, wife, boy mum, grandma, and a firm believer in God's design for lasting health. Did you know that over 1.2 million Americans have their gallbladders removed every year, and that the majority of them are women? Even more eye-opening is that all gallbladder issues are digestive issues. And poor digestion is at the root of up to 80% of all disease, including hormone imbalances and weight struggles. While Jami isn't a doctor and this podcast isn't medical advice, she shares real solutions rooted in research, experience, and God's Word. Let's get practical, biblical, and real, one step at a time.
Thank you for coming back to another episode of No Gallbladder Now What? A podcast for Christian women. So, with that said, I wanted to start out with a wonderful scripture in Proverbs. In Proverbs 15:22, it says, "Plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors they succeed." So many of us come to this situation of not feeling well, having felt like the system failed them. I know I definitely did. But after years of actually going through my own sickness and then wellness journey and working with and for doctors, this is sort of a tongue-in-cheek episode where you can't trust your doctor, but it's not exactly that. I want you to think about the times that you have gotten help and have gotten the answers and how grateful we are for our doctors. But I want you to be clear about a few things as we move forward. So there are 6 things I want to talk to you about, and then 3 easy steps to fire your doctor. So let's begin. So the first reason you can't trust your doctor is because you didn't hire him. So many of us just go to somebody who is, on our insurance. I know when I first started going to the doctor, it was because my husband saw that doctor since he was a kid. I really didn't hire him. I didn't look into him. I didn't ask him questions. I never interviewed him. And so I started asking myself, why am I acting like he's the boss? I'm the CEO of my body. He's my consultant. If he's not helping, it's time to bring in somebody who will. And so, when and I've talked to many students about this and clients, we forget that we need to do a little background check on our doctors too. Just because they have a piece of paper hanging up in their office does not mean that they're great at what they do. They could have barely passed. I don't know. They could have slept through things. They could have cheated. Who am I to know? So really choosing who you want on your team and hiring who you want on your team is going to be paramount in finding the answers that you're looking for when you're sick and also to keep you well. So my goal here is to not just get you, not being sick. It's to help you feel well, to feel good and go do the things that you were designed to do, that God designed you to do. So the second reason that you can't trust your doctor is because you're asking him or her to do something that they are not. So he or most doctors, he or she is trained to diagnose and medicate. They're not necessarily trained to nourish and rebuild. That's like asking your dentist to fix your marriage. You're setting you both up for failure. This is something that is, I think, so important in every aspect of our lives is oftentimes we'll talk to somebody who is poor about how to make money, right? And all their ideas instead of going to someone who knows money, who knows how to manage it, who knows business and asking them. Um, I was talking with some girlfriends because I find it interesting that the young women that I'm surrounded by who have children will sit there and they'll talk about their children and all these ideas and da 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 trying to work stuff out. They have questions. And then there's a group of us who are all grandmas who've done this. We've raised 3 kids, 5 kids, we have grandchildren. We have so much collective experience, yet they would prefer to talk amongst themselves, which I just find so interesting rather than going to somebody who knows the answers to their questions, who has experience. So when you're hiring somebody, you also want them to know, you want to ask the questions. Do you believe that food matters? Do you believe that lifestyle matters? Are you willing to work with me if I decide to do something holistically? What is, oftentimes I'll go into a new doctor, like when I've moved, and said, I don't want medication out of the gate. Please, I would like to work with diet and lifestyle and really, again, hire them to do what I'm asking them to do. The third reason we can't trust our doctors is you aren't working with them. They're just telling you what to do. I can't tell you how many times I have heard people say, well, my doctor said, well, my doctor said. I find it interesting because I was talking many years ago to a woman and I love how she said, well, we've decided. And I just love that. You can tell someone's relationship with their doctor if they say he said or she said instead of we've decided, or I've consulted with my doctor and this is what I've decided to do. And so you can tell with the verbiage kind of where you place yourself and where you place your doctor. So it is your body, it is your life, it is your healing. And if there's no room for conversation, then you're in a dictatorship, not a partnership. And this is about being in relationship with somebody. And I can't tell you how often I've had people, they even working in a doctor's office, and I've usually worked for more natural doctors because that's kind of where I go. But even then, they walk in with their health and they lay it at the feet of the doctor. And the particular doctors that I've worked for are like, no, I want to work with you. And so many people want to just abdicate their health and just give it to somebody else. And then they get mad at that person for not showing up in the way that they want to. And so this is something that we become active participants in our own healing and health journey. So that's reason number 3. Reason number 4 is many doctors are fluent in crisis, but not in root causes. So he can save your life in an emergency, but don't expect him to rebuild it with food and sleep and minerals and lifestyle changes. That is really like asking a firefighter to design your dream home. They're just not equipped to do that sometimes. So I have a sister-in-law who is an ER nurse, and oftentimes I'll ask her questions just to as we're talking because I deal with chronic, more sustained illness and unwellness, and she is, like I said, an ER nurse, and so we have completely different perspectives and training on things. And so, I absolutely want her in a situation where I've been in an accident or something all of a sudden acutely happened, but she's probably not going to be the person I go to when there's something chronic going on or that we have to really dig deep because that's really just not in her wheelhouse. All right, the fifth reason that we can't trust our doctors is they've generally taken one nutrition class back in 1994, and it was mostly about how to prescribe Ensure. I am telling you, I have talked to so many doctors who have zero nutritional background. Their nutritional background is that they're watching TikTok and they're watching Instagram. A lot of them. I am not saying every single one because it's starting to actually become more mainstream, which I'm so grateful that doctors are actually going back to school or actually getting training in nutrition, diet, lifestyle, herbs, homeopathy, alternative care, which I think is so fantastic. But the average doctor is actually had they average, they say, between 1 and 3 days of nutrition. And it's usually huge depletions like scurvy and Burberry and things like that. So it's not really what we're dealing with. So they're just don't go to somebody who doesn't have the training and ask them to give you information. And I've also noticed because I went to this one doctor when I first moved where I live now, I had to find a new doctor. And I just went into this. He was suggested by somebody, and he had no idea, but about nutrition. I don't go in and lead with what I am, what I do, or who I am. And and the information I got was really disturbing. It was actually incorrect information and not updated. And so that's going to be important as well. The sixth reason you can't trust your doctor is because they think your hormones are fine because you are not dead. Meanwhile, you haven't slept, pooped, or felt like yourself in years. So, this is someone who's not listening. And you can say it over and over, and it's like they're hearing you, but they're not listening. And this was something when I was really sick and I was having gallbladder attacks and I was having diarrhea, vomiting, crazy chronic fatigue, all of these things. And so right after an episode, I went to the doctor. So I hadn't slept. I have the 3 kids. I'm super tired. It had been in a lot of pain, and they gave me a depression quiz and then asked to put me on depression meds because I was upset. And I thought, oh my gosh, of course I'm upset. I have not been feeling well. Nobody is listening to me. And I knew in that moment that I had to fire my doctor. So, how do we do that? How do we fire our doctor in 3 easy steps? So, first, out of the gate, we need to stop confusing the white coat with wisdom. And I see this so often is someone puts on a white coat and suddenly someone's like, "Oh, but they said, but they said, but they said." And so just because they went to medical school doesn't mean they understand you. If you're leaving an appointment feeling dismissed, rushed, or worse, confused about your situation, it's time to reassess that relationship. So, for the first step is recognizing that things aren't working. The second step is to break up with grace or ghosting. So you can politely say thank you for your care, but I'm moving in a different direction with my health. Or you can simply stop scheduling appointments. No dramatic send off is required. However, I have found that by writing a kind, simple letter that gives my reasons can help a doctor also become better. So I can say something like, "Thank you for the care and attention you have given me up until this point, but I haven't felt heard and I haven't been helped. So I'm going to take my health in a different direction, but I thought I should let you know why I'm leaving the practice." And so I've done that before. And the third thing is to hire someone who actually works for you. So when I had to get a specific doctor for a surgery I needed, I called 5 surgeons, and 3 called me back, and 1 answered all my questions. And he took the time, he explained things. I got to ask him the technique he was going to use, why he chose that one, how much experience he had, where did he see people struggling, how can I set myself up for success before the surgery and after the surgery, all of these questions. And he absolutely took the time to listen, to answer my questions, to explain the root cause of what was going on, and he truly partnered with me. And so we want this behavior with anyone who is a holistic nutritionist, a functional medicine doctor, or someone who treats you, not just your labs. And you can invest in that and aligned support. It's totally worth it. So, just to recap, the 6 reasons you can't trust your doctor is because you didn't hire him. You're asking her to be someone she's not. You aren't working with them. They're just telling you what to do. They are fluent in crisis, but not in root causes. And they took a nutrition class back in 1994. They're not equipped with the information for today. And they're not listening to you. So with this episode, I hope you found what you can do to choose a doctor that might be better in your healing journey, and what it's time to do, what to do when it's time to part ways, and to do it gracefully, because your health deserves more than a 7-minute appointment and a shrug. So if you're ready to stop outsourcing your health to someone who doesn't really listen and start rebuilding with someone who gets it, I'd love to invite you into my DIY course, 7 Principles to Heal Digestion and Manage Weight and Balance Hormones. So this isn't just another health class, it's a step-by-step roadmap to help you finally feel heard, supported, and confident in your body again. This is what you'll get: over 20 hours of practical, faith-informed teaching, tools you can start using today, yes, even on the Teachables app, make it nice and convenient, and support that helps you become the CEO of your body without guilt or confusion. So just tap the show notes to learn more. And if you're craving community and real-time support, come join us at my free Facebook group. It's like we get in, we can ask questions, get some real-time answers, and get some breakthroughs. So I also have linked in the show notes my favorite bile supports, bitters, lecithin, to help you with your digestion. And I just want to say thanks for hanging out with me again, and I'll see you next time in episode 9, where we talk about the 3 things they don't tell you until it's too late for your gallbladder and what to do. So I'll see you next time.
If this episode encouraged you or offered practical insight, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Leaving a review, subscribing, and sharing with even one friend helps more people discover this message. And Jami is truly grateful for your support. Be sure to check the show notes for free downloads, helpful resources, and a link to join Jami's private Facebook group for extra support and community that blends practical health with biblical truth. Just a reminder, Jami isn't a doctor, so always consult your healthcare provider before making changes to your health plan.